host of the Gridiron.
And I just this one I came up there and I seen this, and this is just something that you can just I can't, I'm not going to go over every player and all that stuff and everything. A big reason you can't blame Mr. Manor for keeping Schoen and Daboll. One of the things he was trying to do is keep some kind of continuity, some consistency there and all and everything. And one of the things that you're finding, unfortunately, is with turnover causes problems, right? Now, obviously, one of the problems, as I said, I can, if we want to go back over, over the past, 10 years, I can be here for probably 9 years going, But one of the things is like, with turnover, with your GM, head coaches, offensive, defensive coordinators, and so on, right? But we'll start off with the defensive coordinator, okay? You had Wink in here, and of course, you had kind of like the two alpha males or whatever, Wink, right, commanded the presence and attention and all that stuff, and I guess it didn't always sit well with Daboll, and Daboll, you read stuff sometimes like maybe Wink went behind Daboll's back, or as far as with his coaches and and all that stuff, and there, so it's it was maybe not always the best situation, right? So when Wink and Daboll, they good that they, I guess, parted ways, right? But the thing is, when you bring in somebody new, right? Like you had Bobby Okereke with Wink, brought him in, right? He, Wink was the coach, right? Brought Bobby Okereke in, right? And he got a lot out of Bobby Okereke, and you can also look at like Jason Pinnock too, right? Seemed like with Wink, he used Pinnock to put him in maybe put him in his optimal position to be successful, shall we say? Quite often, it seemed like some of those guys maybe took a step back this year in the Bowen run defense, right? Like a Carrick, with 2 years ago under Wink, seemed like a Carrick was like all over the field. Yeah, sometimes it was kind of like, he got 5-6 tackles, or whatever. It's like it was where he was getting double digits. With Wink, he's got 5, 6, 7 tackles here with So same thing with Pinnock. It seems like now, man, I didn't bring the guy back, right? It seemed like he did pretty well with Wink, but now under the Bowen, didn't bring somebody new in, right? Some of these guys are like now a square peg trying to shove them into a round hole. Doesn't always work out. I'm not sure why we wound up re-signing Isaiah Simmons. Did Bowen really get a whole heck of a lot out of him on the defense? No, right? But you can go, on and on and on, right? Right? Reese drafted OBJ, right? Seemed like one of the first things that Gettleman wanted to do. He wound up signing him to a new contract, but after that, I don't know, it was like about 45 seconds after he signed him to a new contract, traded him, right? He brought in a new GM, right? It was like, OBJ, yeah. I didn't draft him. He ain't my guy. Bye-bye, right? You look at like Saquon Barkley and Will Hernandez, who was almost darn near almost he's number 34, pick number 34, which obviously is almost the first round pick, right? We had Will Hernandez for 4 years, right? Gettleman drafted him because 2018, right? So he was 2018, 19, 20, 21, right? 22 or whatever rolls around, don't bring him back. That's right. Same thing with Saquon, right? I mean, you draft, Gettleman drafts them. Shane, I mean, they tried to they did try to keep him around. They did franchise tag him. They actually offered him a contract that was just about equal to what the Eagles paid, and he turned it down. I guess maybe he thought he was worth more. And then when he turned it down, he found out, oh, I'm not worth that much. So then when the Eagles wound up, he took that off. You know what I mean? But maybe it wasn't a top-notch priority to keep him, right? Same thing with like Daniel Jones. They did sign him, but then they wound up releasing him, right? But I mean, you could go over so many of these guys, so many of the players, right? Like maybe you can look now at like Darius Slayton, or you can look at Xavier McKinney, right? Shane didn't draft Xavier. Now, I mean, was part of it because to be fair, some of it, Shane comes from the way he was taught, or the position, not the position, to being a GM, to value certain positions more than others, right? So maybe he valued the edge rusher more than a safety. But I mean, you can look a lot of guys, just like not be signing a lot of guys. I mean, like possibly Darius Slayton will be gone, right? It's we had our guy who led the team in like receiving, had over 700 yards year in and year out, except for one of the years he was injured. But and now it's like we just don't seem to find I mean, obviously, I get we got Wandale, right? And we got Malik Neighbors. But it also kind of goes to show you, right? We had Darius Slayton here, who's leading the team a lot of times in receiving yards. And now they're bringing in other guys, their guys, and they're pushing Slayton down, and now he's probably going to be out and gone, right? So getting back to Mr. Mara, I can certainly see where, there's understandably, where he doesn't want, because I mean what's going to happen, right? I mean, we're trying to build a team right now, right? Now, as I said, unless we get another Bill Parcells in here or something like that, just they're few and far between out there, right? But I said the first thing that's going to happen, right, is if he lets gets another GM in here. I mean, once again, unless you get a fantastic GM in here. Are there fans? Sure. But are there a lot of them out there? Right? So, and also this is Shane's first rodeo as far as being a GM. So he's learning. He's made some mistakes, but he is learning too, right? But, I mean, if he were to get rid of Shane, if he was to get rid of Daboll, right? I mean, that means, Bowen will be gone. Right, I'm sure. You don't know about Kafka. You don't know if the Giants would try to re-sign Cat or maybe make him the coach or something like that. That's a possibility, right? So that's not sure about. But a lot of the guys will be gone, right? The new GM comes in, the new coach comes in, and then we start looking down the roster. It's like, well, we got Andrew Thomas. Okay, yeah, we're going to keep him. We got Sexy Dexy. Oh yeah, we're going to keep him. You know what I mean? We got Malik Neighbors. Oh, yeah, we're going to, so you got a certain amount of guys. They go, oh, no, we're going to keep them. Absolutely. But then they're going to look at, how many other players on the roster, the 53 or whatever, the practice squad, they're going to be like, that ain't my guy. I don't want it. So they're going to be letting, and they've been bringing all these new guys in, and it's just going to start all over again. Right. And that was one thing Mr. Mara was talking about, was he wanted some type of continuity there. He keep turning the roster, basically the roster over, right? I mean, they're trying to build, right? They're trying to fill in the pieces and all that stuff. And so he's given Shane, now, to be fair, last year the draft class was very, very good. Now, let's see if you can duplicate that again this year. That'd be fantastic. Because the top 5 guys you got last year were starters, right? tough to think once again if he could draft another 5 guys, right? And they'd all be starters, but we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, if he can knock it out of the park once again with his draft class, I mean, at least get another 3 or 4 real solid players, that would be huge. That would really, really be huge. So, for everybody, obviously, who wants, I understand, Schoen to be gone. It's so easy, right? Yeah, you get one year in there, and then the second year, if the second year is like a dumpster fire, just get rid of everybody, right, and bring in somebody new. And I get it. That's the way we all feel like that. Believe you me, we all feel like that. It's the easiest thing, just to get rid of everybody. I get it, but sometimes it's maybe obviously the toughest, maybe the most painful to go through, but sometimes give the guy a chance. Give the guy a chance. I mean, a lot of it also too is like it's what have you done for me lately, league? Right? When was the last time you won me a Super Bowl? Right? So, but let's not forget, Daboll was the coach of the year. Let's not forget that, with a very crappy team, right? So we'll have to wait and see. Let's see if we can get a quarterback in here and see where we go from there. But I can't totally blame Mr. Mara for wanting to keep Schoen and Daboll intact here for at least another year or so.